Hello, my loves. Hello, my loves. Hello, my loves. Hello, my loves. And welcome to the Wicked Exposed channel. Amen. Well, I'm your intuitive, divine intuitive messenger, Empress Jade, here to deliver to you once again this intuitive message from Spirit. Amen. To all my new online watchers, amen. Welcome, welcome. Come on in the room. Amen. Amen. And to my returning soul tribe members, welcome back. Once again, as we kick our way through these wicked tarot streets. Over here, we sugarcoat nothing when it comes to these intuitive messages. Why? Because Spirit wants you to get all the smoke when it comes to these wicked energies. And with that being said, my loves, at the end of this intuitive message, if you like the way that Spirit uses this vessel to give you the confirmation that was needed to start your healing journey, then by all means, my love, hit the like, share, and subscribe, and come vibe with the Empress J Tribe. I would love to have you as another one of my returning Soul Tribe members. Amen. Out here on the table, my loves, we already have two sets of energies, right? Two sets of energies. The first row of energy is your current energy. Keep in mind, my loves, these current energies may be past, present, or future, so you have to apply these current energies in the time frame of which they resonate with you. Followed by these current energies, my loves, are your second row of energies, which pertain to thoughts of the mind or words that were spoken in a way which pertain to these current energies. Okay? And with that being said, my lovelies, I've already prayed and meditated over these energies. Amen. With the divine. And I've also welcomed in my lovely holy and spiritual angels, along with my lovely holy and spiritual ancestors of Exceeded Master Readery. So we're all channeled in and ready to deliver what Spirit wants you to know at this moment in time, right? So when it comes to these current energies, my love, I was getting the song Casanova by Gerald Levert. If you guys know that. Oh, Casanova, tell me what to say. Ain't no Casanova, I can't let her get away. Okay, yeah. I used to like that song by Gerald Levert. R.I.P. to him. Amen. He was a great singer. Oh God. Okay. And so, as I was saying, I was channeling in on that song, right? In regards to these current energies. And so as I'm looking at this first current energy card, right? This first energy card, I feel like this energy card here pertains to someone from your past collective that you're no longer in connection with, right? This person, I feel, is someone from your past, right? And so I feel like you could have always, thought that this person from your past, right, was, being secretive with you about something, right? And so it's like, and so it's like this person, whom I feel is from your past, right? They could have been, the type of person, right? When you were dealing with this person that was going around in this, sneaky type of energy, right? And you could have, thought that this person was being sneaky with you during the time that you were dealing with this person, right? Because there may have been some times when this person would like act all mysterious around you, If you think back, there may have been some times when this person would act all mysterious around you, like as if they were looking around to see if they were being seen by someone, or they could have been like hiding their phone or turning their phone off, or you know just trying to like hide their phone from you so you couldn't see who may have been texting them or calling them or what have you. Or either they would be like looking mysterious at you to see if you were picking up on their sneaky energy, right? And so if you always thought that this person, and so if you thought that this person from your past was, hiding information from you, yes, they were, right? If you thought this person from your past was being secretive and hiding information from you, then yes, they were, right? And the reason why they were being so secretive, you know, secretive with you during the time, right, that you were dealing with this person is because they were being sneaky, you know, dealing with someone else, right? And that could have been the reason that you um, chose to um, get out of this connection with this past person, right? That could have been the reason, because what's done in the dark comes to the light, right? What's done in the dark comes to the light, and so you could have discovered that the reason why this person was being so secretive with you and hiding information from you is because they were being sneaky dealing with someone else, right? And so, yeah, that's why you chose to, you know, no longer be in connection with this person, or in a relationship dealing with this person, right? And so now, right, when it comes to this second Curry energy card, now they're like um planning something out, right? Planning something out in regards to you, right? Because you discovered that how sneaky they were being in the past, right? You discovered how sneaky they were being in the past, right? And hiding information from you because they were dealing with someone else, right? And so I'm feeling like they didn't expect you to, find out that they were, this sneaky type of person that was hiding the fact that they were dealing with someone else, right? But you did, right? And so now, they're planning out something in regards to you, trying to get back in your good graces, right? Trying to get back in your good graces, right? And this could be by, text or phone call, asking you about meeting up, right? Asking you about meeting up, right? And so it's like, but once this meeting up takes place, once this meeting up takes place with you and this person, they still gonna be, this same immature masculine that's gonna be playing these mind games. They still gonna be, this same immature masculine that's playing these mind games, right? Because they're gonna be in this energy of testing you and analyzing you to see if, these same mind games that could have worked on you in the past gonna still be able to work for them, right? But you know, I feel like you gonna level up, right? You gonna level up on this person, right? You gonna peep these you gonna peep these you gonna peep that he's still this same immature, masculine trying to play these mind games, right? And this what he not gonna see coming with you, right? You done leveled up on this masculine. When it comes to these mind games he gonna be trying to play, come back and play on you with, right? This what he not gonna see coming with you, right? Because it's like the same way he gonna be testing you and analyzing you to see if these mind games still work is the same thing you gonna be doing with him. Testing and analyzing to see if he's still this same immature masculine trying to play these mind games, right? Cause see what he trying to do is um he's trying to resolve this conflict resolution, right? That he has with this other woman, right? That he was being sneaky on you with, right? That's what he's trying to do. Conflict resolution, meaning he's trying to put an end to a dispute, right? With this other woman that he was being sneaky on you with during the time, right? That he was in connection with you, right? He's trying to put an end to this dispute, right? That he's having with her, right? And to get her to be in agreement, right? Of what he's wanting to do, right? With you, which is making amend with you, right? And so he's trying to get her to start compromising with him, to be in agreement with making amend with you, right? And so he think this is gonna be, he thinks this gonna be, a positive outcome with him and her, being in agreement with what he's wanting things to, with what he's wanting things to go his way, right? But I'm thinking, I'm feeling that she's thinking of a positive outcome of her own when it comes to these two, right? Because see, remember, she knows that this masculine, right? She knows that this masculine is sneaky, right? Because he was being sneaky with her while he was dealing with you. So she already know this masculine is a sneaky little thing, right? And so what I'm feeling with her is she gon' agree to compromising with this masculine, right? She gonna agree with compromising with him, but she gonna have a positive outcome about these two of her own, right? She gonna have a positive outcome with these two of her own, right? And that's how, when it comes to these current energies, right? That's how this gonna end up being a toxic love between these two, right? That's full of drama, addictions, and and have this love-hate relationship going on between these two, right? Because as we head down here to the next row of energy cards, which pertains to thoughts of the mind or words that were spoken in a way that's pertains to these current energies, right? This first energy card here, this masculine could have told this other woman, I love you, collective, unconditionally, right? And so, like I said, right, she already knew this masculine was being sneaky with her, right? And so, and knew that he was hiding information from you because he was dealing with her, right? So she know some little things about this masculine herself, right? And there could have been some times when he would act all mysterious around her, looking all around to see if he was being seen by you with her, right? And looking to see if and looking at her all mysterious to see if she was picking up that he was being sneaky with you, right? So she knows. So she knows that this masculine can be, this secretive type of person, right? And so she could have found out something, right? She could have found out something that he was planning on doing, right? That he was planning on doing with you, right? She could have either read a text that he sent you, or she could have heard, this phone call from him asking you about meeting up, right? And so it's like when it comes to this second energy card here, like I said, she could have found this out, and that's why he's trying to explain himself, by saying, it was my fault, but I blamed you, right? But it was my fault, but I blamed you, right? I blamed you because I was planning on, he gonna try to smooth it out with, I was planning on, telling you, I was planning on explaining myself about, I was planning on explaining, the reason why I, something he gonna smooth out, something he gonna try to be, something he gonna try to be slick with explaining, explaining this phone call or this text that he gave you. Something he gonna, tell her, he gonna tell her it was my fault, but I blamed you, right? Because he knew he done got caught up, he knew he done got caught up with being sneaky. That's why he knew he done got caught up with being sneaky, and so it's like these mind games that he was trying to play with you done backfired on him, right? It's like these mind games that he was trying to play coming back at you with him done backfired on him, right? And the other woman, discovered what he was planning on doing, and he trying to, smooth it out with her, not saying, it was my fault, but I blamed you. I was just, you know, it's I was just, he tried to be slick. I was just trying to explain myself with the both of y'all. That's what I feel like he basically was, trying to explain to this other woman, right? And so, like I said, these mind games done backfired on him, right? And so, you know, he not gonna see this coming with you, that you know already peep these mind games out when y'all do meet up. He not gonna see this coming with you, that you already know he's still this same immature masculine, trying to play these mind games, because you was testing and analyzing him the same way he was doing with you, right? And so this meetup, I feel like didn't work in his favor, right? This meetup that he thought he was gonna play you with these mind games didn't work out like he thought it was, right? Because you done leveled up. You're not the same person from the past, right? That was food with the mind games before. So, right. So that's why his mind is on his that's why his mind is on this thought of I wish things were different, right? Because he was thinking that he could still play these mind games with you, but you ain't falling for the bull swanky no more. You don't level up, right? And you don't level up, so you know that he will come in with this same these same mind games, trying to convince you that he this changed person, right? And so that's why he was trying to resolve this conflict resolution with getting this other woman that he was being sneaky with you on about, that he was being sneaky with you about, to start compromising with him, right? Because he was thinking he was gonna be making amends with you, and that being that she was in this energy of having him thinking that she was in agreement with making amends with you, right? It's like both of these two had a positive outcome of their own, right? It's like both of these two had this positive outcome of their own, right? It's like, because when it came to this word compromising, right? She had him thinking she was compromising, right? But then she started switching things up. It's like, okay, I was compromising with you. Now you gotta start compromising with me. See, that's the part. This masculine didn't think that's the part that he didn't know that was her positive outcome about, right? He wasn't thinking she was gonna say, okay, I was compromising with you about this situation. Now it's time for you to start compromising with me, right? And so it's like that's what got his mind, remembering every detail of that day. That's what got his mind remembering every detail of that day, right? Because it's like, she was all in agreement with it, but the whole time she had a positive outcome of her own, and that was, okay, if I'm a start compromising with you when it's my turn, you better start compromising with me, right? Right? And so it's like, um and so it's like, that's what has his that's what has his mind understanding what this compromising with her was about, right? That's what his mind has him understanding, what this compromising that she was doing with him was about, right? Because it's like he was so deep in his thoughts with her, agreeing to compromise with him, that he failed to think that you know once she started compromising with him, she was gonna turn things around and ask the same type of thing with him for her, right? And so it's like, and so he thinking, she tried to outsmart him with his own, bright idea, right? So we gonna get into the tarot to see what caused this situation to happen, my loves. We gonna get into the tarot to see what caused this situation to happen, right? Because he could have not known, she was in this karmic energy during the time he could have not known she was in this karmic energy during the time she was agreeing to compromise with him. He could have not known she was in karmic energy during the time when she agreed to compromising, So we can get into the tarot to see what caused this situation to occur when it comes to this masculine, right? That you always thought was being secretive, that you always thought was being this secretive type of person, right? Come to find out, you could have come to find out, discovered the reason why he was so secretive, because he was, being sneaky, dealing with someone else while he was dealing with you, and was trying to, hide this information from you, because he didn't want you to know, what type of person you were dealing with. This, secretive, sneaky type of individual, right? So we're gonna get into the tarot to see what caused this situation to occur when it comes to you, this masculine, and this other woman that he was being sneaky on you with. Holy Spirit, I need energy card, please. And trying to come back to you acting like he ain't no Casanova, acting like he ain't no Casanova, Oh, Casanova, tell me what to say. Oh, Casanova. That's what his planning was about. He's trying to come back like he ain't no Casanova. I can't let her get away. Oh, Casanova, tell me what to do. I ain't no Casanova. I just wanna be with you. Yeah, okay, yeah. Listen, baby, I wanna hold you, wanna squeeze you too. Go. I wanna make sweet love and you Casanova. Alright, Holy Spirit, I need an energy card, please. Cause see, this masculine, yeah, he's still being sneaky. He's still was trying to deal with you. He still was trying to, get back in your good graces so he can deal with you and her. He was still trying to play that game. Yeah. He was trying to play that game. He was still gonna try to play that game, right? Okay, so it's like, first energy. It's like this first energy card we got out here with what caused the situation to occur, right? Okay, so this this past person that you it's because this past person, right, that you could have always thought was being so secretive, right, was this masculine was in this stalker energy, right? This masculine was in this stalker energy, right? It's because this masculine was in this stalker energy, right? Right? During the time when he was being so secretive, right? He was in this stalker energy, right? And that's why he was being so sneaky, right? And and acting so mysterious, right? Because he could have been, the type that was a stalker, right? He could have been a type that was, this stalker, right? And and was hiding information from you, cause and was hiding this information, hiding information from you, that, you know, he was being this stalker with you, right? He was being this stalker, was hiding this information that he likes to be this stalker. He could have been hiding information that he likes being this stalker, right? Bottom of the deck, we got lover in reverse, right? So it was because he's the type that likes being this stalker, right? He's the type that likes being this stalker. That's why he was so secretive, right? Because he was in this stalker energy, and it had him being all sneaky, right? Because he was because he was so mysterious. He was so mysterious about what about he was so mysterious about what being a stalker. He was so mysterious about what being a stalker felt like, right? That's what he was hiding. That's what he was hiding. He was so mysterious about what being a stalker was like, right? And this was the information he was hiding, right? He was mysterious, he was mysterious to know what being a stalker felt. He was mysterious to know what being a stalker was like, right? And so and so um and so what he was planning, right? And so what he was planning with you, collective, he's in denial about with this other woman, right? What he was planning, right? He was in denial about, right? When it comes to this text or phone call, right? And by saying this meeting up was for something else, right? By saying this meeting up with you was for something else, right? Yeah, by saying this meeting up with you was for something else, right? Because, because, by saying this meeting up with you was for something else to this other woman, right? Who feel like, by saying this meeting up with you was for something else, right? Because this masculine wanted to play these mind games, right? These masculine wanted to play these mind games, right? But being that being that he's still in this immature energy, right? This secret admirer, right? Which is you, right? This secret admirer, which is you, right? Gonna peep. Move this out my way. This secret admirer, which is you, right? Gonna peep that this masculine is still the same immature, the same immature man that's testing you and analyzing you, right? And because the secret admirer was doing the same thing, like I said, testing and analyzing this masculine, right? Who tried to resolve, right? Who tried to resolve this conflict resolution with this other woman, right? This other woman, right? Who 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 he who he don't like know, right? Who he don't know, right? Did something, right? Who he don't know did something to get this person sick or start having these health problems, right? Who he don't know did something to get him sick or start having these health problems, right? Yeah, who did something, who did something to have him sick, right? Or start having these health problems, right? Because he wanted, he wanted her to be compromising with him about making a man with you, right? And so she and so, it's like she had him thinking she was compromising with him, and the whole time, she the whole time she had a positive outcome of her own, and it wasn't, good. It wasn't a good one, right? So, because she did something to have him sick or start having these health problems, you know, yeah, cause she did something, right? Cause she did something, so she did something to, have him sick or start having these health problems, right? Because, once he once he told this woman, I love you unconditionally, you know he didn't know that this boss, right? He didn't know that this boss, this person, so this woman could have been his boss, right? He didn't know that this boss, right, was the reason why he was in this stalker energy. He didn't know that this boss was the reason why he was in this stalker energy, right? He didn't know that this boss, once he told this boss, I love you unconditionally, he wasn't expecting this boss to get in this stalker energy about him, right? Because like I said, she already knew he was being sneaky with her, right? And so she was mysterious as to, the information that he could have been hiding from her, right? She got mysterious about, you know, what he was hiding from her, and had turned into the stalker with him, right? And turned to the stalker with him, who was planning out something with you and gonna be in denial about it, right? And gonna be in denial about it, right? With this other woman, right? That's why, he told her, that's why he gonna tell this other woman, it was my fault, I blame you, because he didn't know that this woman was the type that keeps tabs on you, right? And so that's how she, that's how she that's how she, found out he was wanting to, meet up with you, because she could have, seen something on his phone, like a text, or could have heard him talking, and, ask him what this plan and who he planning something with. And he in denial, right? And that's the reason why he was in denial. I could have asked him who you planning something with, and that's what made him, get in denial about what this meeting up with you was about, right? Yeah. Um, because it's like, these mind games had backfired on him, right? Because like I said, these mind games had backfired on him. And so this secret Mara had already peeped that he was still this same immature person, right? Right? So evidently, you decided to meet up with this masculine, right? And gonna peep that, he's still the same immature person that's playing these mind games, right? Because it's like, you know, what he was trying to do in the past with you backfired on him, right? Because the secret admirer know that he's still this same immature person. Because you was testing and analyzing him the same way he was doing you. And that's what he didn't see coming, right? And so that's why his thoughts were on, I wish things could be different, right? Because, he didn't know you was gonna like turn down this dinner. He didn't know that you was gonna turn down this dinner, right? Because he could have, he didn't know that you was gonna turn down this dinner, right? Because he could have, like, did something to this dinner, right? He didn't, like, this dinner card is in reverse, right? And I know that his mind, is his mind is thinking, his mind was started thinking, right? Once he, couldn't get you, once he couldn't get you to go out to dinner. It's like once he couldn't get you to go out to dinner, right? That's what his mind was on, these thoughts of, I wish things were different. Because, yeah, like I said, he didn't know you were going to turn down this dinner, right? Which could have had something, could have had something in it, right? Which could have had something in it. He didn't know that you were going to turn down this dinner, which could have had something in it, right? And, yeah, which could have had something in it, right? From this other woman, right? Who could have had something in it because of this other woman, right? And he was the one who got sick or started having health problems, right? He didn't know you was gonna turn down this dinner, right? And so it's like he didn't know you was gonna turn down this dinner. One of these two could have made, right? One of these two could have made, which could have been hurt more than likely, right? He didn't know you was gonna turn down this dinner, right? And this person masculine ended up the one getting sick or started having these health problems because of her doing something, right? Because of her doing something to this dinner, I feel like. Yeah, because of her doing something to this dinner, right? Because of her doing something to this dinner, so that this masculine, since it's like, because of her doing something to this dinner, so that this masculine, since this masculine, like, it was like, since this masculine no longer wanted to have sex with her, right? He was the one ended up getting sick or started having these health problems, right? Since, because he didn't want to have sex with her, right? That's what because she was thinking he didn't want to have sex with her, right? She was thinking he didn't want to have sex with her. So he was the one ended up getting sick or having these health problems because he didn't want to have sex with her, right? And so that's what's making this masculine's remember every detail of that day when he got sick or start having these health problems, right? His mind is remembering this dinner, right? His mind is remembering this dinner, right? That this boss made cooked for him, right? And and so, yeah, that this boss could have cooked for him because he told this boss, I love you unconditionally, right? He told this boss, I love you unconditionally. And this boss, maybe this boss didn't believe him, right? Maybe this boss didn't believe him, right? And so, he could have told this boss, I love you unconditionally, right? And this boss started feeling some type of way about it, right? She, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like, once he told this boss, I love you, collective unconditionally, he didn't know that um this boss was gonna feel some type of way about it, right? Because it's like, cause it's like, you know, cause it's like, this I love you unconditionally, she felt like was supposed to be for her. And so um it's like she didn't know how to it's like she didn't know how to tell this person that she had got ashamed or embarrassed, right? That this I love you unconditionally want for her, right? That's, you know, that's the reason why she had turned to this stalker, because she was trying to, you know, she was trying to, you know, gather information about who he was being secretive about, right? And so it's like once she found out something about this masculine, right? Once she found out something about this masculine, she started keeping tabs on you, right? She started keeping tabs on you, right? And you know, and discovered who he was planning on meeting up with, right? And that's why the masculine was in denial, right? Trying to soothe things out with saying it was my fault, right? But I blame you because I was going to explain. You know, he was trying to smooth out. You know, he was trying to like smooth out what this, you know, meeting up with you was about, right? He was trying to smooth out what this meeting up with you. He was trying to like be sneaky and tell this boss that this meeting up was about something else, right? And so it's like it's like um once he started being in denial, right, with what this meeting up was about, right? It's like this masculine didn't know that he was gonna, you know, need a job, right? This masculine didn't know that he was gonna need a job, right? Because this boss did something to this dinner, right? This boss did something to this dinner, which was supposed to be for this secret admirer, right? Which was supposed to be for this secret admirer, right? But she turned down this dinner, right? She turned down this dinner, right? And so that's how he ended up having sex with this other woman, right? That's how he ended up having sex with this other woman and got sick or started having these health problems. And so that's how he got, yeah, so that's how he ended up having sex with this other woman who could have also got sick, right? Who could have also got sick or started having these health problems, right? Because it's like both of these two ended up eating this dinner. That's what I feel like. Both of these two ended up eating this dinner, right? And he didn't know that this other woman was trying to play you for a fool, right? Yeah, cause this sex matcher was supposed to have you and this secret admirer sit, but instead it ended up having her and him sit. Yeah, it ended up having her and him sit, right? And it ended up having her and him sit, right? And because he no longer wanted to be her lover, right? Because he no longer wanted to be her lover, right? It ended up having her and him sit because he no longer wanted to be her lover. And so, like I said, that's how this ended up being a toxic love, right? That's how this ended up being a toxic love, right? Cause all she is full of drama, right? And these two had the same type of addictions because both of them ate this food and ended up getting sick or having these health problems, right? And so that's how, you know, That's how this ended up being a love-hate relationship between these two, right? That's how this ended up being a love-hate relationship between these two, right? Because, this masculine, was in deep thoughts with her, compromising with him, and had lost himself for a little while because of this, sex magic that she had. Sex magic that she had done on him through this dinner. And so now that we got the cause of what, so now that we got the cause of, so now that we got the, what caused this situation to occur, now that we know what caused this situation to occur, we gonna now pull 4 energy cards, right? We're gonna now pull 4 energy cards to see what affected these energies, right? When it comes to this situation, we're gonna now pull 4 energy cards to see what affected these energies when it comes to this situation. We're gonna now pull 4 energy cards to see what affected these energies when it comes to this situation. Okay. So it's like once this masculine had told this boss, "I love you," collective unconditionally, it's like he started feeling ashamed. It's like he got in the energy of feeling like this boss did, ashamed or embarrassed, right? That this boss had turned into this stalker, right? It's like she had became the forcer instead of him. It's like she had became the forcer instead of him, right? The type of person who forces things on you, forces their way in, uses force to get what they want. It's like she had turned into, it's like she had turned into, this forcer instead of him, who wanted, to be the one. It's like instead of him who wanted to be the one that was, the forcer, right? Bottom of the deck, we got moving on, right? Right? And so it's like once she had got in the stalker energy like he was in, right? She started giving this masculine money, right? Because she found out something. Right? She found out something and was keeping tabs on you, right? She found out something and was keeping tabs on you about, what this meeting up was about, right? And so since this masculine was like in denial about it, right? That's when that's that's what made her start giving him money, right? Like once she found out something about what he was planning on doing, meeting up with you collective, right? She started giving him money so she could start keeping tabs on you, right? And it's like, because, since you was in denial, right? She was thinking that this meeting up, right? She was thinking, if she started giving him money, right? That, she was thinking that if she started giving him money, right? This would like change, change how he feel about her, right? Because this masculine, was in this energy of, he could have needed a job during the time, right? That's why he was creeping with this other woman. That's why he was creeping with this other woman, right? Who did something to this dinner, right? Because she wanted this secret admirer to be, she wanted this secret admirer to be fooled by these mind games that he was, you know, he was gonna be giving her, right? He gonna be playing on her, right? She wanted this secret admirer to be fooled by these mind games, right? She wanted this secret admirer to be fooled by these mind games that he was trying to come back at her with, right? But you had turned down this dinner, right? And so you had turned down this dinner because you had leveled up on this masculine, right? And he didn't see this coming with you, that you was gonna be, you know, this type of person that was too busy winning, right? And so the one who, and so it's like the person who she wanted to play you for a fool with, it's like the person who she wanted to and so it's like the person who she thought she was gonna play you for a fool with ended up having sex with her, right? The person she thought she was gonna play you for a fool with ended up having sex with her, and it's like both of these two started getting sick of having these health problems, right? It's like both of these two started getting sick of having these health problems, right? Both of these two started, you know, getting sick of having these health problems, right? That's how it is, you know, that's how it ended up being a toxic love, right? Because he didn't know that she had did something to this dinner so that you and this masculine could get sick. And so by you turning down the dinner, you know, he ended up having sex with her. And whatever he ate from this dinner, she got sick from it. Or she could have ate some of this dinner herself. Whatever he ate from this dinner, you know, had sex with her, she ended up getting sick from it too. Because, you know, she ended up getting sick or having health problems just like he did. That's how both of these two ended up with the, you know, same addictions, right? That's how both of these two ended up having the same type of addictions that has her, you know, all full of drama, right? Because she didn't know that you know, she would end up getting sick or have these health problems. Like, she didn't know that she would end up being the one getting sick or having these health problems. That was supposed to be you in this masculine, right? So we're gonna pull 4 energy blocks. Alright? We're gonna pull 4 energy blocks. We can get ready to pull 4 energy blocks to see what blockages these energies created for themselves when it comes to this situation. Alright? So when it comes to what blockages these energies could have created from themselves, right? It's like the reason why this masculine could have started feeling ashamed or embarrassed, right? It's like, because it's like he was supposed to be the one that was this forcer, right? And like had, you know, no idea that this boss would end up being the one who was the forcer, right? Right? Because it's like once he told this boss, "I love you" unconditionally, she had turned, you know, she had turned into this hater. She had turned into this hater, right? Because she knew that, you know, he was being, you know, sneaky, right? She knew he was being sneaky and secretive, with, you know, hiding information about her, you know, hiding information with her who he was trying to, you know, who he was planning on meeting up with, right? And so that's why she started giving him money, right? Because she didn't want to be, you know, in the friend zone with him, right? She didn't want to be in the friend zone. She didn't want to be in the friend zone, right? And so she felt like if start giving him money, she would no longer have to be, in the friend zone with him, right? Right. Um, and so remember though, but he could have also found out something. His master could have also found out something that she was keeping tabs on you, because remember he was, you know, he was, he was the stalker just like she was. So he found out something she was doing too, which was keeping tabs on you. That's why he was in denial about what this meeting up was about, right? That's why he was in denial about what this meeting up was about, right? And tried to smooth it out with her by, telling her, something different about what this meeting up was, right? Because, during the time this masculine could, been the one who needed, who needed a job. And so that's why he was creeping with this boss, right? Who didn't want to be turned down. Who didn't want to be turned down, Who didn't want to be turned down by this masculine, right? Yeah, who didn't want to be turned down by this masculine. That's why she did something to this denim, right? Because, she knew that he still, had feelings for this secret admirer, right? And so she wanted you collective to be, fooled by these mind games, right? So that he could still, be in this same energy of playing on with you, but you had leveled up on this masculine, right? You were no longer, being fooled by these mind games that he was trying, that he once could have, fooled you with in the past. So, because like I said, you were doing the same thing this masculine was doing, analyzing and testing him to see if he was still the same immature person, right? So once he came with you with the mind games, that's when you turned down this dinner, which this other woman did, do something to, so that this masculine could play you for a fool, right? And so that this masculine could play you for a fool once he had sex with you, and so that you could get sick or start having these health problems, right? Or start having these health problems, right? But what ended up happening is she could have been the one that got sick. She was the one that got sick or started having these health problems just like he did, right? And so, but she thought this master won't play you for a fool, but you had leveled up and had got in the energy of being too busy winning, right? And this masculine didn't know that you was gonna say no, right? This masculine didn't know that you was gonna say no, right? No to him, right? And so, this no, you know, um, didn't go in the favor that this no didn't go in the favor that neither one of these two was expecting. This no didn't go in the favor of neither one of these two with having this positive outcome. This no didn't go into the favor that neither one of these two was expecting to have this positive outcome about, right? Because you 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 had started moving on from this. You had started moving on from this situation, and so this was like this was like a thank you. And so this was it's like you had started moving on, and so this was like a thank you, but no thank you. You know, like next time, you know, it's like next time, um, cause next time it won't no next time. It won't no next time. Cause this next time won't no next time, right? It wasn't a next time for you when it came to you, right? You just started moving on. Like once you started moving on, it was like thank you, and this could have been he was going on that this was gonna be a next time, and it wasn't a next time when it came to you, basically, right? And so we're gonna pull some zodiac signs to see what zodiacs um we're gonna pull some zodiacs to see what zodiacs we're gonna pull we're gonna pull some zodiacs to see um what zodiacs could have what zodiacs more than likely this situation pertains to. Keep in mind, my love, if it just so happens that you don't see your zodiac sign come out on the table, does not mean that this situation does not pertain to you. It simply means that you were you have more than likely had this zodiac sign in your birth natal chart, right? And you were in this zodiac sign's energy during the time that this situation takes place, right? Now, let me get a zodiac sign for this masculine who had became this stalker, right? Let me get a zodiac sign for this masculine who had became this stalker. Holy Spirit. Let me get this zodiac sign. Okay. See, this masculine, who was this stalker, right, didn't know that you collective who could have been this Taurus, right? He didn't know that you collective who could have been this Taurus, right? Always thought that he was this secretive, sneaky type of individual, right? But this boss knew, it's like this boss knew something he didn't know about you. Right? It's like this boss. Okay, it's like, yeah, this masculine who had turned to this stalker didn't know that this Taurus, right, always thought he was, being secretive and sneaky about something, right? You just didn't know who this boss, you just didn't know it was this boss, right? You just didn't know it was this boss, right? That this person had told I love you collected unconditionally to, right? Let's get a zodiac sign for who this boss is, right? This woman boss. Let's get a zodiac sign for who this woman boss is collected. Let me see. What's really a zodiac sign for this boss? This boss, right, who could have been feeling some type of way, or she could have, who could have been in Pisces energy, right? Feeling some type of way about what he said, told her, I love you unconditional, right? So she could have been, this Pisces or in her, I have Pisces in her birth natal chart and was, feeling some type of way about what this masculine had said about this Taurus, right? And she didn't want him to know. She didn't want him to know that she had got ashamed and embarrassed that she was in her feelings about him saying, I love you unconditionally, right? Because this boss who could have been this boss, right? That's why this boss was, that's why this boss was, shooting shots at, that's why this boss was, shooting her shots at keeping tabs on you, right? Because she found out something, right? Because she found out something. That's why this boss was shooting her shots at you because she found out something, right? And was keeping tabs on you. She found out you was, in this energy of meeting up, planning on meeting up with you to collect them. And so she started shooting her shots with giving you money, right? Because she wanted to capture your heart, right? She wanted to capture your heart with giving you money, right? Yeah, she wanted to capture your heart with giving you money, right? Because she felt like, this masculine this Virgo masculine need a job, right? She felt like this Virgo masculine gonna need a job, right? Once he eat this dinner. She felt like this Virgo masculine gonna need a job once he eat this dinner with the secret admirer, right? She felt like this Virgo masculine gonna need a job, right? And see, he didn't know that, she did something to this dinner for him and this secret admirer to get sick, right? Right? And so he didn't know. He didn't know she had did something to this dinner for her and this secret admirer to get sick, right? But this masculine could like to run his mouth, right? And he could have told you, collective. This masculine could have went running his mouth when with this meeting up. This masculine could have told you, that this person, he could have got his he could have been his Capricorn energy, right? And could have told you who fixed this dinner. That's why you turned it down, right? And could have been running his mouth and told you who had cooked this dinner. And that's why you turned it down, right? And that's why you turned it down, because you could have felt like this person wanted to play you for a fool, right? You could have been, you could have felt like, that this Virgo, right? You could have felt like this Virgo was in devil energy, You could have felt like this Virgo was in devil energy, right? With this dinner. You could have felt like, something was devilish. You could have felt like something was evil. You could have felt like something was evil about this dinner. You could have felt like this person did something to this dinner. That's why you turned it down, right? And could have, and this Virgo didn't know, but you could have felt like something was evil about. You could have felt like something was going, someone right. You could have felt like someone right with, You could have felt like something was up with this dinner. That's why you turned it down. You could have felt like something was up with this dinner. That's why you turned that shit down. Excuse my French, y'all. And so, yeah. And so once you turned it down, this masculine, this masculine, right? This masculine could have still ate this dinner, right? This masculine could have still ate this dinner, not knowing this person wanted to play you for a fool, right? This masculine could have still ate this dinner. This masculine could have still ate this dinner, right? And that's how he ended up in devil energy, right? Because he gonna have sex with that woman, He gonna have sex with that woman and gonna end up getting sick or having these health problems, right? Because she yeah. And so, yeah, because it's masculine, right? They need a job. Gon' go ahead on and eat this dinner, not thinking nothing of it, right? He gonna go ahead on and eat this dinner that you turned down, right? And that's how this other woman gonna play you for a fool, right? Because you gonna end up having sex with her, and the both of y'all two gonna get sick or start having these health problems because of it, right? And that's how this, gonna end up being a toxic love, right? That's how this ended up being a toxic love, because both of y'all two gonna have the same addictions from eating this dinner. Both of y'all two gonna end up having the same addictions from eating this dinner. Right? Right? And she gonna be, full of drama because she didn't know that she was gonna end up getting sick. Right? She gonna be full of drama because she gonna get sick too from eating from either she gonna get sick from either she ain't gonna end up eating this dinner too, or she gonna get sick because he ate this dinner. Either way, she either gonna get sick because he ate this dinner because he gonna end up having sex with her, or both of these two ended up eating this dinner and both of these two got sick because of it, right? You know, either way that goes, collective. But you turned it down though, so you did the right thing, right? And so we're gonna close out this reading with what the universe we gonna close out this reading with what the universe wants you to know in regards to this situation, right? So this is gonna be something that's the universe wants you to know this is gonna be something that's gonna happen soon, right? If this situation hasn't happened yet, this soon about to happen. All right, collective. This is soon about to happen. Okay, this is a situation that's about to happen soon, right? And so that was your reading, my loves. That was your reading, right? And that was your reading at this moment in time. And if this message resonated with you, I was glad to be the vessel used from Spirit to give you the confirmation that was needed to start your healing journey. And until next time, my loves, that we meet on these Wicked Tarot streets, my lovely collective, I want you all to stay blessed, prayed up until we meet again. My beautiful souls, take care. Stay blessed and take care.